What is going on, you guys? It's Extreme here, and welcome back to another episode of my Road to Max Prestige. This is episode 33 of Season 3, and for those of you that are new around here, this series goes up Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays, normally at 9 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Also, I do have a Facebook and Twitter accounts. I don't use them as often as I should, but I do have them, and I do use them, sort of. Anyways, today's episode is going to be a little more serious. For the record, the pain I was dealing with in the last episode has dramatically subsided. Thank you, Lord. Hopefully, the shit end of things is finally coming to an end. I guess we'll see soon enough, hopefully. Please, God. Please. Anywho, moving on. In today's episode, I want to talk about something very serious, very important as well. And it's something that I have a past with part of what's going on here. So I'm going to go ahead and say this right now. For those of you that are new around here, and for those of you that aren't new around here, in the past I have made some very direct negative comments about Apple. In today's commentary, I will be discussing the issue regarding Apple versus the US government. And I just want to go on record right now and say that while I do have a very negative opinion of Apple and their products, my opinions shared in this video are directly related to the incident in question and not about the company as a whole or its products. All right. I feel the need to make that disclaimer because I'm about to be a real negative asshole about Apple, because are you fucking kidding me? So let me get into it. For those of you that don't know, the other day, the federal government, specifically the FBI, got a court order for Apple to unlock one of their phones. And the reason for this is one of the terrorists responsible for the San Bernardino attacks, his phone is locked and they can't gain access to it. They want to gain access to the phone so they can see what information, what intel is on the phone that could potentially lead to preventing any future terrorist attacks on U.S. soil, or that could aid in the dismantling of ISIS. That's right, this guy was a member of fucking ISIS. Now the problem is, Apple has come forward less than 24 hours after they received the court order and said, no, we're not doing it. What? Why? Well, here's why. And they went on record and said that the government has asked or demanded that Apple creates this software that would allow the government to unlock any iPhone anywhere in the world for any reason whatsoever. And this software would prevent data lossage, yada, yada, yada. Basically, it would do all kinds of nice tricks and stuff, and basically give the U.S. government full access to any and all iPhones. There's just one tiny problem with Apple's claims. That's none of that's in the court order. None of that was in the court order. What was in the court order, again, court orders are public record. You can go and look it up, which is what I did. The court order in question specifically requested that this one phone owned by this terrorist that is currently locked be unlocked, the data not wiped, and the phone returned to the FBI, or, the FBI can now access the phone freely without concern for it locking or any information potentially getting deleted. That's it. Yes, there was an amended statement to the court order asking Apple to assist in further incidents where they would need to get access to said phones made by Apple that have these security features that would allow Apple to simply remotely activate said software, and they can just do what they need to do. The FBI can go about doing their thing. But again, this is something that would require a court order. Apple would still retain control of the software. They would just remotely click a button and ta-da! FBI can now access the phone as need be. That's it. That's part of it. And it wasn't a required step of the court order. The court order simply required Apple to unlock this one phone, which is formerly owned by a terrorist. I say formerly because the guy's dead. Unlock it, prevent data wipage, and allow the FBI to get whatever information and intel they need off the phone. It's that fucking simple. Nah, we're not going to do that. We're not going to give you what you want. Sorry. Fuck. Now, before anyone out there says, well, why don't they just hack the phone? Yeah, Apple's gone to some pretty extreme lengths to prevent things like that from happening, which is why the government got this goddamn court order. Because they asked Apple for their help. Apple refused. They got a court order. Apple is now refusing the court order. So this is where I want to go ahead and get away from all this stuff, and I want to give my thoughts and opinions on what's going to be the potential outcome to this situation. Because at this point, if Apple continues to fight this, and they will, and this isn't the first time Apple has fought the US government when it comes to one of their products and the so-called privacy of their consumers. One of two things is going to happen. Because again, this isn't the first time Apple has done this. Either A, Apple eventually is going to cave and give the government what they are asking for, or B, you're going to see for the first time in a very long time the ban on a product being sold in this country simply due to the fact that the company doesn't want to play ball. Now, I know a lot of people are jumping behind Apple and saying that, yeah, Apple's doing the right thing. No, they're not. This was a terrorist. This was a guy that wanted to kill you because you're a US citizen, or you're a citizen of any country that is against ISIS. If you are a member of said country and Apple sells their products in that country, you are a target, whether you know it or not. If you believe that Apple is doing the right thing by preventing the US government from getting access to this one phone, you are an idiot. Look, I'll be brutally honest. I don't think Apple can unlock the phone. I don't. I honestly think they've made their phone so protected they can't even do anything about it, which is a problem because part of the law for cell phones to go into circulation is the company that created the cell phone has to be able to unlock it remotely or with, a tech. They have to be able to do that for instances such as this. And I think Apple has circumvented that somehow and has released a product that even they can't unlock. This guy was a fucking terrorist. He committed a very heinous crime against humanity. He killed innocent people in the name of a terrorist group philosophy that is just utter shit and just It bothers me so much that Apple is fighting this. They're not protecting some innocent individual of a crime he may or may not have committed. They are protecting a fucking terrorist. In this specific instance, they are protecting a terrorist. That is not something I want to get behind. As a consumer, if I was legitimately an Apple product supporter, I would have stopped supporting Apple. I don't support Apple. That's my personal philosophy. That is my personal belief. I don't like their products, and I never will. That being said, if I were to buy an Apple product right now, I would instantly demand my money back because I don't want to support a company that will not take my safety, my family and friends' safety, their well-being, my well-being into any account because they want to save face and they want to protect themselves from another instance like what happened a year ago or so when a bunch of female celebrities had their fucking nudie pics posted online. I don't have words to express my pure anger and frustration and rage over the fact that they're protecting a terrorist. If they were protecting a guy who's on trial right now and this information could, prove his innocence or guilt, I'd have the same opinion, but it's a fucking terrorist. Come on. Really? Anyways, what is your guys' opinion on this whole thing? Let me know down in the comments below. I will see you guys again very soon for another one. Until next time, adios.